Hello and welcome back. This is the final step of our Simple Shared Experience series, where we will learn how to change the color of the cube for all participants using ECS, an architecture that enables sharing data between participants and entities. An entity is a general-purpose object that is uniquely identifiable. It can hold a list of all its components, which are aspects that are attached to the entity. For example, an entity might have a position and rotation, which will be represented by a pose component. Systems are processes that operate on entities with certain components. For example, there might be a pose system that only handles updates to the position and rotation of entities with pose component. Systems can add, remove, or modify components during runtime. To create your own system, we are going to inherit methods from the system base class. The list of available methods can be found in the ConjureKit documentation. Notice that system base inherits from iSystem, which is an interface. Therefore, when using it to create your own system, all its three methods should be included. We start by creating a C# script for our color system. Make sure we inherit classes from ConjureKit and ConjureKit.ecs, and replace the MonoBehavior base class with System base class. System base class also requires the ConjureKit session class, so add it to our system as a parameter. Now declare a new component name as a string, and override the method getComponentTypeNames from system base to return the color component. This method is called by ConjureKit during initialization. The system is notified when components of the type reported by this method are updated or removed. Now let's declare the event we want to trigger on every update, and the map of component data as a dictionary. And finally, let's override the update method. Using this method, we will update a local map of component data and trigger an event for each update. The component data is a byte array. It's up to the developer to decide what data to store and how. But to easily use it in our code, we will add to our color system two methods to convert color to byte and vice versa. Now let's create setColor method that will update the component with the new color locally and broadcast the update to all other participants. We'll need to first verify that an entity with a given ID exists. If the entity exists but doesn't yet have the color component, add a new one by using the session method addComponent, where we pass the component name, the entity ID, and the component data. If the entity exists and has a component, we can update it using the session method updateComponent. Finally, let's create a getColor method to be used in our app manager every time a cube is touched, and will return the locally stored value or a default one if the component or the entity doesn't exist. Remember, we need all three methods from iSystem, so add the delete method as well. Now let's open the ConjureKit Manager and declare a color system and a dictionary to store the cube's renderers. Create a method that will change the cube's color when its component is updated. And in ConjureKit.onJoint callback, register the color system to the joining participant. Now open the Touchable by Hand script that is attached to the cube prefab and simplify it by triggering an event when the cube is touched. Go back to ConjureKit Manager, update both Create Cube Entity and the Create Cube methods to initialize a cube with a color and update with random color when touched. If we now run the app, each device will recognize all hand in its field of view. For a smoother experience, we are going to allow users to choose which hand can be recognized by the cameras and interact with the cube. We will do it with a few simple adaptations to our code. Change the fingertip landmark that interacts with the cube to be a game object instead of a renderer, and populate it again in the editor. And activate or deactivate it if a hand tracked by the camera using the landmark visualized boolean. Remove the handtracker.showHandMesh from initialization. Change the landmark visualized boolean to false, and change the UI toggle is on state to false as well. All right, now build a scene and run it on 2 devices. You now have all the basic information you need for creating your own shared experience in AR. Links to the full project can be found in the description. Have fun, guys!